Good morning, YouTube. It's Monday morning, 10:15, and minus 4 degrees out there. I'm a bit late today, and so I'm going to make this now and upload it later on, because otherwise my friends at Cheltenham Housing Aid Centre will think that I'm not turning up. And I think that's my trouble in life. I keep turning up. This is part one of a two-part video. Okay. Now in the second part video, I'm going to read you a story. And I'll make no other comment in it. I'll just read the story. Because it's actually for a very special friend. Two friends, actually. The first friend left a comment under one of my videos that I'd be quite a good storyteller for children. Well, thank you very much, but I actually prefer speaking to adults. And I'll get rid of this smoke. I'm sorry about this. But the story itself is a reading for a friend of mine whose first language is not English. And over the last 6 months that I've known him, he keeps criticizing himself for his quote-unquote damned English. Well, we haven't used a phrase like that for some time, so I'm not sure how old the textbooks he's reading from are. And maybe I can send him some up-to-date ones in the future. But this led me to thinking about communication, about how we talk to each other. And also, the other thought that came into my mind was a friend of mine couldn't hear the video that I made at about 3 o'clock one morning a few days ago. And it's occurred to me that the reason he couldn't hear it was that in that video I was speaking my local dialect or my local accent. Okay? That's how I speak to the people around me here. So I don't speak like this, like I do to YouTube. 24 hours a day, it would be exhausting. I have to relax into my local language. And in my former job, as well as being the rent officer, I was the accommodation officer. And I had the pleasure of meeting people from all over the world. What's that saying? Why go out to the world when the world will come to you? Well, I've changed my mind a bit on that. I'd like to see a bit more of the world itself. But the one thing I noticed is that the people who came to stay with us, whose first language was not English, always criticized themselves about the English they were speaking. Now, for me, the very fact that they'd made the effort to speak English was enough. And then after that, it was up to me to listen. Communication is a two-way thing. It's talking and listening. If one or the other breaks down, it just isn't going to work. And the problem I think we have in Britain, the UK, is that we actually don't even listen to each other. Now, the reason I've chosen the story of life is that my friend whose first language is not English let me eavesdrop in on a lesson with his tutor. And when my friend read that story, I heard and understood every word he said. But at the end of it, his tutor criticized him, that it was not correct English. Well, excuse me, but we go into regional accents here. You're more likely to get a job on TV speaking in your local accent than you are if you speak the Queen's English, whatever that is. And I've been trying to encourage him and say, look, what you've done is enough. If I can understand you, then what is the problem here? And I don't know what the problem is. But what am I trying to say? Communication is not just talking. It's not just listening. It's also body language, presentation. It's all that sort of thing. You can get messages across to people in many different ways. And we've all got to find our own way of doing it. And when we've found it and we're easy with it, surely that's enough. So, very shortly, I will be uploading the second part of this story of life. And in the meantime, although it will be probably a matter of, I don't know, minutes, or it could be hours, the way YouTube's playing up just lately. In the meantime, I'm off to do a day's work. So I hope you enjoy the story I'm going to read you this evening. And as I said, it is for two friends that inspired me to read it. And I thank them both very much, because it is a brilliant story. I think it might have been written by somebody in the North Americas because of the spelling and the grammar. But it's the message that's important. And it's just a brilliant story. So I'll see you soon, I guess. Bye for now.